There's a stretch of land behind my property that rolls gently down to a lake. Serene, private, untouched. I bought it 6 years ago, not because I needed the extra land, but because I wanted peace. You see, I've never been the community barbecue kind of guy. I like silence, solitude, the kind you buy with a deed and a fence. But fences mean nothing to a certain species of suburban parasite, the Karen. Not a nickname, a biological classification. Loud, entitled, bottle blonde, mid-40s and fueled entirely by Chardonnay and HOA drama. The infestation began about a year ago when a pair of Karens, Denise and her equally unbearable sister-in-law Sheila, moved into the rental 2 houses down. You could smell the entitlement before the moving van even backed out of their driveway. Loud music, screaming kids, barking dogs, yoga mats on the front lawn like they were hosting Coachella for divorcees. At first, I tried to ignore them. After all, we weren't neighbors in the share sugar sense. A whole acre and some dense trees separated us. But apparently that just made my property more appealing. The first time I saw them trespassing, I figured it was a mistake, a misunderstanding. Maybe the lake made them forget property boundaries. So I walked down calmly one Saturday afternoon and found Denise sunbathing on my dock. Her spawn were splashing in the water, their dog running wild through the reeds, probably peeing on everything I planted. "Hey," I said, voice level, "this is private land. You're on my property." She didn't even flinch, just lifted her sunglasses and stared at me like I'd farted during communion. "Oh, come on," she said, "it's just a lake. There's plenty of water for everyone." "Right, and there's plenty of air, but you don't get to breathe it in my house." I kept it polite. Firm, but polite. "It's not a public beach, Denise. You're trespassing. Please don't come down here again." She rolled her eyes, muttered something about uptight recluses, and gathered her kids like I was the one being unreasonable. Strike one. I should have known that wouldn't be the end of it. Karens don't respect boundaries. They erase them. A few days later, I installed a couple of signs. Private property, no trespassing, just to make it clear. I even added a trail cam for good measure. But of course, the signs didn't matter. If anything, they just triggered Denise's inner war general, like my land had become the hill she was going to die on. And her strategy? Pretend ignorance and play victim. Within a week, she was back again, this time with friends. 4 women, all in identical sun hats, all dragging coolers like they were invading Normandy. I didn't confront them that time. Instead, I pulled the footage from the trail cam, clear as day, them marching past the signs, setting up beach chairs, laughing like they owned the damn shoreline. I emailed the clips to my lawyer and printed screenshots, just in case. Strike 2. The final straw came 2 weeks later on a Wednesday of all days. I'd taken the day off to fish alone, enjoy some time on the dock. When I got down there, guess what? They'd set up umbrellas. Umbrellas! Denise turned to me mid-conversation with Sheila and, I kid you not, smiled like I was interrupting her day. "You again," she said. I didn't reply. I just stood there, heart beating like a war drum, staring at these strangers camped on my land like it was a public park. Then came the punchline. "You're going to hear from our attorney," she said, standing up. "We've decided your refusal to share access to the lake is discriminatory. You can't block a natural resource. That's illegal." Discriminatory, because I wouldn't let them break the law on my land. I didn't yell, didn't curse. I simply smiled, the kind of smile that says, "You just made the biggest mistake of your over-tanned life." Sheila chimed in, trying to sound smart. "We looked it up. The lake's technically public. You can't own water." "Oh," I said, real calm. "You're absolutely right. You can't own water." I took a step forward, real slow. "But you can own the land around it." Denise scoffed and muttered something about entitled men before they packed up again and stormed off like a PTA meeting gone rogue. But this wasn't over. This was war now. And she just walked into a battlefield I built with legal documents and time-stamped evidence. By the following Monday, I received a letter, hand-delivered no less, in an envelope with more pastel flowers than a sympathy card. Inside was a 3-page document, typed in Comic Sans, because of course it was, with phrases like community fairness, access equity, and my personal favorite, your hostile tone is creating a dangerous environment for our children. It wasn't from an attorney. It was from Denise. She'd written me a fake legal complaint and signed it with a glitter pen. I laughed so hard I had to sit down. Not because it was funny. No, it was terrifying how deep her delusions ran. But because it was so Denise. Like trying to sue someone with a coloring book. Still, she'd made a claim, and I take claims seriously, even the insane ones. So I called my lawyer, sent him the letter, and asked what to expect if she actually followed through. His reply? Dry and perfect. Tell her to go pound sand, which she can only do legally on her own property. But Denise wasn't aiming for legal victory. She was aiming for pressure, and when one Karen feels threatened, she rallies others like some shrieking bat signal. That weekend, I noticed a new post in our community Facebook group titled Unneighborly Behavior and Our Right to Lake Access. Guess who wrote it? Guess who liked it? Guess how many comments it had within 24 hours? Over 70. Most were neutral, but a few joined her cause. People I'd never spoken to suddenly had opinions about me, about my unfriendly energy, my anti-family attitude. One woman even said I glared at her toddler once. I probably did. The kid had thrown a rock at my mailbox. But let's pause here for a moment. I hadn't done anything. They were trespassing on my property, and somehow I was now the villain because I wasn't smiling while they did it. Classic Karen logic. Step 1, break the rules. Step 2, get told no. Step 3, cry injustice and start a Facebook coup. I wanted to respond. God, I wanted to post something snarky. But I didn't. Because unlike Denise, I had something far more powerful than opinions. Receipts. So instead, I started collecting more. That trail cam? I upgraded it. Night vision, motion tracking, live alerts to my phone. I even added a second one farther up the trail, hidden in a birdhouse. Every time they came down, I got a ping and logged it. Denise's kids? Logged. Their dog? Logged. Coolers, chairs, and inflatable flamingo floaties? Logged, and double logged. But here's where it gets good. I noticed something interesting about their visits. They weren't just coming to swim. They were filming themselves, posing in swimsuits, recording dance videos, holding up sparkling drinks while they screamed #LakeLife. Around 22K on Instagram, mostly middle-aged women and MLM hustlers. She called herself a momfluencer, lifestyle guide, wellness warrior. Which makes sense. Nothing screams wellness like breaking and entering. So I did what any rational man would do. I created a burner account and started watching. Every video she posted near the water, I checked the timestamp. Every lakeside photo with her perfectly filtered face and stolen background, I saved it, with GPS metadata when possible. Evidence, evidence, evidence. But I wasn't done yet. One morning, I spotted Denise down by the dock again, alone this time, probably filming another natural morning meditation bit. She was sitting cross-legged on my dock, eyes closed, whispering affirmations to her phone like she hadn't just committed another misdemeanor. So I walked down, quiet as a shadow, and stood right behind her until she opened her eyes. She jumped. I didn't say a word, just held up my phone, took a photo of her, startled on my property mid-filming, and then turned around and walked back up the hill. No yelling, no warning, just cold, quiet, irrefutable documentation. She didn't post that day. The next one, though, she posted a quote.
People will try to dim your light when they can't handle your shine. Stay radiant.
Sure, Denise, so radiant you're glowing in trespassing charges. But it wasn't just about revenge anymore. This was about setting a line in concrete. Because if you let one Karen plant a beach umbrella on your land, the next one will build a Starbucks. And I was done playing lifeguard on my own shore. 2 weeks passed with no new trespassing, At least not from Denise herself. But her little army of enablers kept trickling in. Teenagers mostly, probably her daughter's friends, sneaking through the brush to snap selfies like my lake was a free Airbnb with a ring light. But Denise, silent. Too silent. That's when the real letter arrived. This time with a proper header, an actual lawyer's name, and one of those watermarked papers that scream, "I spent $300 just to try and scare you." The accusation? Denial of public lake access, harassment, defamation. She even claimed emotional distress because I'd taken photos of her without consent. Let's unpack that for a moment, shall we? Firstly, the lake's public, yes, but my land isn't. Secondly, harassment. She'd illegally entered my property at least 11 times. Thirdly, defamation. All I did was tell the truth, painfully, precisely, publicly. Fourthly, photos on my land during trespass. Try again. I passed the letter to my lawyer, who smirked and said, "Oh, she wants to play? Let's give her the full experience." And just like that, we were countersuing. I filed a formal cease and desist, then went ahead and reported every single documented trespass, complete with time-stamped videos, GPS-located Instagram posts, and enough screenshots to give her PR nightmares for months. But I didn't stop there. Remember those lakeside videos Denise filmed? Turns out she'd monetized some of them. Ad revenue, brand sponsorships, affiliate links in her captions. She wasn't just visiting. She was profiting. Which meant commercial use of private property. My lawyer's eyes lit up like it was Christmas morning. This just got fun. We amended the report. Not just trespassing, but unlawful commercial exploitation of private land. Add a couple more legal terms, and suddenly she wasn't the angry mom with a Facebook grudge. She was a small-time influencer facing civil liability. We also served notice to every company she'd partnered with. Health teas, bath bombs, essential oil pyramid schemes, all of them got friendly letters explaining how their products had been promoted during the illegal use of private land. Result? Most dropped her faster than a hot curling iron. One even issued a public statement. We were unaware our content partner violated private property laws and do not condone such behavior. Denise went quiet on social media after that. Dead quiet. No more hashtags, no more doc photos, no more wine glass candid shots that took 5 retakes. Of course, she didn't go down without a squeal. She tried one last card, held a neighborhood mediation meeting at the local community center. She invited me. Let's build a better community together. There was an actual PowerPoint. She started talking about shared resources and the spirit of cooperation. She played a few emotional strings. Kids needing fresh air, how the lake was a mental health resource for stressed-out moms. One woman even dabbed her eyes. And then she said it, that fatal phrase, "We shouldn't let technical property lines divide our community." Cue my turn. I stood up, calm, no anger, no sarcasm at first, just the facts. I laid out how many times she'd trespassed, how many videos I had, how she used the land to sell product. I even showed one of her Instagram clips, projected on the wall, where she called it her favorite hidden gem while her kid was peeing in my reeds. I ended with this. So when Denise says she wants to share, what she means is use your land, ignore your rules, and monetize your privacy. That's not community. That's theft with a smile. Silence. Except for one guy in the back, Jerry, I think his name was, who let out a sharp whistle and said, "Damn." Meeting adjourned. Denise stormed out. She hasn't looked me in the eye since. But the damage was done, to her, not me. She lost followers, lost brand deals, Word spread. Even her rental contract wasn't renewed. The owner didn't want drama on his property. As for the lawsuit, dismissed, with prejudice. And my counterclaim? Pending. Let's just say Denise might need to sell a lot more bath bombs to pay for the settlement we're negotiating. But the best part? That lake is quiet again, peaceful, just the way I like it. Except, of course, for what I've got planned next, because karma's fun. But planned karma? That's an art form. By now, the Karens were bleeding out, socially, financially, reputationally. Denise was licking her wounds somewhere off-grid, or more likely in her sister's guest room surrounded by live, laugh, love pillows and barely chilled Chardonnay. But I wasn't done. Not because I was angry. Anger burns hot and fast. This was something colder, more deliberate. A man doesn't sit through 12 trespasses, a fake lawsuit, and a community witch hunt just to accept a weak apology and move on. That's not how this works. No, I wanted closure. Complete surgical closure. And I had a plan. See, after Denise went radio silent online, I kept an eye on her burner accounts, because she had them. Of course she did. You don't go from posting 5 lakeside photos a day to total silence unless you're either dead or lurking. And lurking she was. One account, a new mom group page with 5 followers and all her same writing patterns, had started posting photos again. Different angles, no face, no location tags, but the dock was still there. My dock. The same planks I stained myself last summer. Rookie mistake. I compiled the new posts, handed them over to my attorney, and we filed a second claim, this time for continued commercial exploitation after notice of prohibition. It wasn't just a jab, it was a legal nail gun to the foot. If she wanted to keep playing influencer, she could do it without trespassing on my dock and pretending it was hers. But even that wasn't enough for me. So I went after her support system. Karen infestations are rarely solo acts. Denise may have been the ringleader, but her sister-in-law Sheila, she was the enabler, the one who gave Denise plausible deniability, the one who let those kids run through my trees like they were auditioning for a forest-based reality show. And Sheila, she worked for a local real estate agency. She'd even posted once about loving the lake life and having insider access to hidden retreats while standing smack dab on my dock. I made one phone call to her agency's managing partner. No threats, no screaming, just calm, factual explanation with a PDF full of evidence. Within a week, Sheila's smiling photo had disappeared from the agency's website. On extended leave, the update said. Right. Check. But the crowning jewel? That came in the form of a town council meeting. See, the lake technically belonged to the public, yes, but all access points were privately owned, including the ones bordering my land. I found out from a friend on the council that Denise had quietly submitted a proposal to the zoning committee. She wanted to petition the town to open a shared easement along the lakeside, including part of my property line. It was buried in bureaucratic paperwork, slipped in like a parasite under a polite title, Community Green Access Proposal number 48A. I smiled, because it was time to bury her. The council meeting with a folder thick enough to beat a hippo unconscious. Inside, legal documentation of her repeated trespasses, social media evidence of commercial use, video footage from 3 different angles, formal complaints from neighbors who also didn't want screaming, Karens setting up beach chairs on their lawns, a notarized statement from the actual property owner she was renting from, confirming he had issued a no-access clause in her lease. I didn't just oppose the proposal, I demolished it. 10 minutes into my presentation, the committee chair literally said, "Okay, I think we've heard enough." Proposal number 48A, voted down unanimously. Public record, permanent, bulletproof. Denise had tried to seize access to my land through social pressure, legal threats, and bureaucratic sleight of hand. And she lost. Everywhere. Her name? now associated with abuse of access rights in official documents. Her reputation, shredded like expired lettuce. Her lifestyle brand, MIA. She tried to claim the lake as hers, and now she's not even welcome in the town that surrounds it. That's not just karma. That's engineered failure. And let me tell you, watching someone like Denise unravel from a safe, quiet distance, it's better than revenge. It's satisfaction, with receipts. By the time summer came full circle, the lake was back to what it had been before the Karens rolled in. Quiet, still, mine. No sunscreen-slicked children cannonballing into the shallows. No half-inflated flamingos drifting into my reeds. No shrill laughs over wine-fueled mom rants about gluten and school districts. Just water. And peace. I didn't realize how much tension I'd been carrying until I sat on the dock one morning, fishing rod in hand, thermos of coffee beside me, and just exhaled. The real kind, deep down. Like I'd reclaimed something bigger than property. And I had. See, when someone like Denise invades your space, it's not just about land or legal boundaries. It's psychological. It's a siege of your autonomy. The noise, the gaslighting, the fake victimhood, that aggressive chirpiness they use to mask a complete disrespect for rules. But I'd ended it. Permanently. Not through violence, not through yelling or threats. Through method. Through precision. And most importantly, through patience. Denise? She didn't even make it to the fall. Her lease wasn't renewed. The owner didn't like the legal attention, or as he called it, the influencer infestation. I ran into him once at the gas station, and he actually thanked me. Said I did the town a favor. Gave me a nod like we'd fought in the same trench. The house? Rented now by a retired couple who spend their evenings reading on the porch and waving politely when I pass. That's all I ever wanted. Not fake friendships, not lake party invites. Just respect. As for Sheila, her little real estate empire didn't survive the hit. When clients Google your name and see unauthorized use of private land, well, people stop trusting your judgment. Her agency let her go in July. She now posts vaguely motivational quotes on Instagram from an account with 112 followers. Growth sometimes means starting over. Yeah, especially when you burn your own reputation to the ground. And Denise? She's out there somewhere. Probably in another rental, another suburb, telling a slightly reworked version of the story. This guy was just so mean. He didn't even let our kids use the lake. But what she won't say is how she tried to fake legal threats, or profit from land that wasn't hers, or mobilize a whole neighborhood based on lies. Because that part doesn't fit her narrative. And that's fine, because I don't need people to know what I did. I need people like Denise to remember what happens when they mess with the wrong man. I built a file so thorough, so legally tight, that she'll think twice before stepping foot on any dock again. Every time she sees a "no trespassing" sign, her eye will twitch. Every brand she tries to work with will think, wait, is this that woman who got sued for filming on private land? I didn't just win. I left a scar. And that's better than jail time or viral fame, because scars linger. Now, life goes on. The lake's mine again. The property value's gone up. I even got an offer from a local nature photography group to license photos from my trail cams. The same cams that caught Denise sunbathing like she owned the shoreline. Irony's a beautiful thing. But I said no. Because sometimes the best view isn't something you share. It's something you savor. Alone. Quiet. Like revenge. Or coffee. Or a dock that no longer smells like cheap rosé and spray tan.